It all started with like a stolen Quran. So I said to him, I was like, yo, you know what you just stole? And he's like, nah, it's just a book. I'm like, nah, B, like, it's not a book. Like, I brushed the dust off of it, started to read. Like, every time I like picked it up and I read certain things, like, it hit different. To be completely honest, I did not look like how I look today. You know, I had a nose ring, I had like, my earrings were in, like, chain, like, everything that was like the opposite. I was put in a situation where it's either I choose up, where I stick to my deen, what I know is the truth, or I literally end up where everyone else is going. To be honest, like I have a couple things, like, you know, to speak on, but you know, as I was here, like, you know, a couple brothers asked me little questions of like my journey, because I am a revert to Islam, and basically, so how it all played out was, it all started with like a stolen Quran, which sounds as crazy as it sounds crazy. Basically, growing up, I always was like, I was a really spiritual, religious type of person. Like I used to like walk, go to the church. My family they're Christian, so I would like walk to church by myself. I would always like, you know, do those little things. And so this was grade 11, night school, and my friend at the time, he had his class in the library, and the bell rang, he came outside, and I noticed he had a Quran in his hand. And growing up, I had a lot of like Middle Eastern friends, like, you know, so like, not to put any stereotypes, but you know, I had some knowledge of like what it was. So I said to him, I was like, yo, you know what you just stole? And he's like, nah, it's just a book. I'm like, nah, B, like, it's not a book. Oh, and sorry like for the slang, I'll try to articulate myself as best as possible.
Nah,
if you guys don't understand.
Go for it.
But so I ended up taking it from him, trying to like, you know, do the good thing. Bell rang, I went to class, I brought it with me, put it in my bag, it came home with me. And that was literally like the day, like everything, like, you know, started. So I'm not gonna lie, it sat there for 3.5 months. And then I was just cleaning out my room because we were moving. And I found it again, I brushed the dust off of it, started to read. And then over time, like every time I like, picked it up and I read certain things, like it hit different. Like, you know, and it's just like, even when I was in class, like in grade 11, like I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you guys went to Catholic school, but Catholic schools, they do world religion. So you learn about all types of religions. So you learn about Sikhism, you learn about Hinduism, Orthodox Christian, Islam. So we went to these, like, they're respectively like holy places of worship. And I remember after coming back, I asked my teacher one day, I was like, okay, so if, like me knowing what I know in the Bible, it says like, you know, like if the revelation came down where it came down, the picture that is depicted of Jesus, like, you know, in peace and blessing be upon him, like it's not like, it's just not right. You know, those ones like that doesn't make sense. And I remember I asked about it and the teacher didn't give me no answer. Just kind of just looked at me like, oh, that's because. And I'm like, all right. Like, you know, so I started doing my own research, and that was towards the ending, going into grade 12. And then fast forward, I ended up moving to Brampton. And in that time, like, you know, we all have our trials and tribulations. Like, I'll be lying if I said I'm the perfect Samaritan sitting here. But, you know, you go through life. And basically, I met this one brother, and he just told me to, like, come to the mosque one day. And I was like, okay, like, I'll come. Like, you know, I'll pull up. So I went, and I went there, and like, we literally sat in a circle kind of like this. And to be completely honest, I did not look like how I look today. You know, I had a nose ring, I had like, my earrings were in, like chain, like everything that was like the opposite. And like, they didn't look at me no way. Like, you know, they just accepted me, like they talked to me, like, you know, took their time with me. And then fast forward, it kind of like brought me to understand what I was reading more. Like, you know, because it's one thing to like judge Islam off of like the broad notion we see on the media and what they depict, but it's like realistically, like, you don't look at the person, look at the religion. And it's like when I would read and then I would see certain mannerisms of like the brothers that I met opposed to what I was being shown, I was like, okay, yeah, that doesn't add up. So I dived into it a little more. And then fast forward, it's been 4 years now. It's from 2015. And in the beginning, I was like, you know, I was on my deen, doing everything. and basically life happens. It was easy for me to slip back into my old tendencies. Sometimes, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will like knock you down from like, you may be feeling like your iman may be super high, like to the point where you may get complacent, like you may feel like anything and everything that you do, like you can't be, like you do no wrong, like and then you have to get knocked back down to be humbled and realize, okay, yeah, nah, I need to fix up a couple things. So fast forward, going through life, like life kind of showed me that, yeah, you don't steer this ship, and I basically decided to jump back on and really pay attention. And so my whole thing is like when Sal was talking about his life a game, it was like I was literally playing a game with life. Like anything you want to name it, whether it's from, you see what I'm saying? Like I was there, and a lot of people that I know, a lot of people that I used to hang out with, like they're not here present today. They're like the typical story. Let's just keep it 100. Like just a typical story. And I was put in a situation where it's either I choose up, where I stick to my deen, what I know is the truth, or I literally end up where everyone else is going. And it's actually funny, I was telling Saad and Kevin like the other night how there was this one night where we're all chilling, we're all hanging out, doing whatever, and basically I left probably like 20 minutes, and then right after the door went flying right off, and everyone in the house got in trouble, literally. And it was like, there was too many signs that was being shown to me. It's like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, you're really playing with life. Like, so it's like, and I'm also a person that believes that like nothing happens for a reason. Like, everything is already planned out for you. Like, even the name of like the event, even where the event takes place. Like, I know this area very well. I used to like right over there, 1900 North Sheridan Way. Like, I used to be right over there, like every day. Like, so me just understanding that, okay, you want to continue to play with life, this is where you'll end up, but if you just stay on your deed, this is what's for you. And every time that I would, like make my salah or do like anything along those lines, I would reap the benefits of it. To be honest, like I have a little something, like I write poetry, and I guess it can kind of like sum up like what like I have to say, but just to like put it out there, like I don't know where everyone is personally with their iman, but what I do know is that like we're all blessed, and a lot of us like a lot of us like it's not intentional, because like I can understand why it's easy for you to dibble and dabble into what you see outside, like it's amusing, but like I'm sitting in a position where it's like I wish some of my friends were guided, like and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can guide, like whom He will. So all of us in this room have like a cheat code in a sense, like where it's like we know the truth, we know if we do certain things that we can obtain like paradise, like not just by hitting your salah or like giving zakat. It's actually like your actions, like what you do on a daily basis, how you deal with people, your interactions, like so. Just to like sum that little all up, it's like as soon as I made that shift and I jumped back on my deen, it was like all that stress and negativity just kind of went away. Because like for 22 years, I can honestly say like I was living without peace in my heart. Like honestly, like 100%. And even like where I sit today, from the outside looking in, I may not be in the best position from where I was previously, but like I've been telling all like my friends and all this stuff like that, like it's the first time like I have peace, like full peace, because it's like you can, like if you find happiness in like the cars and all that stuff, like all right, when the car disappears, like your happiness is literally gone with it. And if you find happiness in the money, once the money's gone, your happiness is gone with it. And it's like so it was literally like a snowball effect, and like I was just literally tired of rolling. Like you keep rolling, and then you end up into a place where you necessarily don't want to be. And it's like a lot of people don't get to like come out of it. So it's like, if anything that you guys can take away from it, like it's just like, yeah, like everything we see on media and then we see outside, it's all nice, it's all neat. Like you want to dive into it, you want to play with it, but trust me, it's not what it seems. Like and it's like, sometimes I wish that like I could have been born Muslim, so that like my parents and like my family members can also see the way I see things and how I view things. Like, you know, that's why like every time I make my salat, like I'm making sure I make dua for all of them. Cause like, you know, like in the beginning it wasn't the easiest thing. Like, you know, but the blessing of it was I was living by myself. Like I was financially stable to be living by myself. So it's like, you know, so like I guess like I could just like, you know, touch on a little poem. You know, I got a lot in this book, but I feel like this one can really touch like what's going on with today. So it's it basically starts like this. So trying to find myself accumulating debts, multiplying stress, life. It's a process, right? Patience is my